Ignite your best life. Yoga is the spark.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Yoga Hacks podcast. Today's hack and what I felt compelled to speak about was how we are so inundated with information. We live in the information age, and those of you who are doing the chakra challenge or who are in my members community Uplifted, we just recently did the 6th chakra, which is all about your intuition and listening to your own inner knowing and your own inner voice. And in that podcast, I talk about how in this time period we currently live in, logic is valued above all else. We're taught in school to stop listening to our intuition, to learn things, to memorize things, that logic is king. And it wasn't always like this. If we look back in history, the king had advisors who read the stars, who interpreted dreams, who performed ceremonies to get in touch with the higher powers or the religion at the time. We see this in the Bible, right? Joseph warned the king of Egypt through a dream, right? He had this knowing to divine consciousness, this inner knowing. And we all have this. And regardless of what your religious belief is, I think we can all agree or tap into the idea that yoga and meditation really helps us access this part of ourself that knows what's going on at a deeper level, helps us get in touch with our gut, right? That gut feeling, that intuition. And why I wanted to talk about this today is because so often we think that we need to follow logic and what we read on the internet or in an article or in a magazine has weight. My big message for this podcast is that everything you read on the internet and in magazines, right? It's all designed to trap your mind, right? The headlines that are written, yoga cures blah, 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 or yoga injures so-and-so, or new study shows yoga is actually bad for you, or doing a pose this way hurts someone, or, whatever it is, everything on the internet, the internet is a human mousetrap, right? It's just designed to catch your attention. And I really know this and I really understand this because I used to, in a past life, do a lot of writing work. And we would literally write articles like this out of the blue. I would help brainstorm titles to do exactly that, to trap people's attention, to catch their attention. And how does this tie into intuition? It ties into intuition because if you have a question about something going on in your body or something going on in your yoga practice, I really want to encourage you, and my hope with you listening to this podcast, your takeaway will be to, instead of WebMD it or Google it or search for it or read articles about it, to go inward and to start feeling what's really going on for you so you can use your own intuition and your own inner knowing of your body to figure it out yourself. So say your hip is bothering you, right? You can Google hip pain, yoga for hip, and maybe you find some things that are interesting, and that's great. But what I'd rather you do is get a spiky ball, like my myofascial foam rolling ball or whatever ball or yoga wheel or foam roller is available to you, and start moving around on your hip. And close your eyes and start breathing and start figuring out, when I do this, it hurts. When I do this, it hurts in a good way. When I do this, it hurts in a bad way. This spot's really good. I'm going to stay here for a while. Whoa, I'm breathing. I think maybe this spot's relaxing, right? To really trust that you know your body. If you're listening to this podcast, I have a message for you. You know your body. You and your body are insanely interconnected. It's this connection that somehow got lost through our education system, maybe through trauma or abuse, whatever may have happened in your past. It's time to reignite that relationship with your body. You need one of my big mentors, John Barnes. He says you need to heal to feel, right? You need to feel to heal. Sorry. You get it, right? You can't heal without feeling. So when we rush to the computer and we Google, or we get caught up in reading an article, or our mind gets caught up in these stories or in sort of like the logic, it's a total cop-out. It's a total cop-out. Like, I'm in pain, so I'm gonna like turn my sensations off and look for an answer outside of myself, whether it's on the internet or in a magazine or whatever. Again, there is some great information out there. I try to put great information out there on YouTube. I'm not saying never Google anything again. I'm just saying, as an overarching principle, I would love it if we can all, and I'm speaking to myself in this podcast as well, right? Everything I do online is a reminder for me as well. That's the reason I have my whole yoga membership and everything I do. It's because I need to hear these messages all the time. So I'm speaking to me as much as I am speaking to you. We all need to remember that the answer lies within us. That's one of the big things our yoga practice and our meditation practice is teaching us. The answer is not outside us. The answer is within us. It's a journey home to get reconnected with our body always. It's never about, if you can do this pose, it will fix this. If you do Y, it'll fix Z. If you do X, Y, Z, you'll be a good yoga teacher. If you do Y, Z, X, you won't be, right? It's so much more nuanced than that, and you need to go in. None of us want to go in. We want to Google the answer. We want to worry about it. We want to read articles that were designed to trap our mind by highly professional writers and advertisers who, do that for a living. You need to go in. So the next time you're faced with something that's worrying you or a decision, even if you're thinking of just like your first impulse is to search for the answer or ask someone for advice or call them, I'd really encourage you, just as a practice, maybe just practice it for 10 or 30 days. Write down that impulse in your journal so you keep track of the fact that it happened, and instead just sit quietly by yourself. Meditate. If you don't believe in meditation, just sit quietly and listen to your breath and see what answer comes to you. See what your intuition brings up. Because our poor intuition, it's like that kid in the back of the classroom who's like tentatively raising their hand and really shy, and all the other kids in the classroom are like screaming at the teacher and jumping up and down, right? Unless you give it time and give it space and wander to the back of the classroom and hold that little kid's hand and say, hey, it's okay to tell me what you're thinking. That's your intuition, is that little kid. You need to give it time and space where you're prioritizing your intuition. And when I come to my meditation practice, I love it because it's just a part of my day where I'm detaching from the logical, I'm detaching from the rat race, I'm detaching from my cell phone and the internet and the traps of articles that were designed to draw in my mind. And I'm taking time to connect with something so much more vastly intelligent and greater than me. And it's so healing. And you will begin to find answers this way. Not right away, because again, just like your bicep, your intuition is a muscle. It's not naturally strong. You have to exercise it and make it strong and practice listening to it and practice quieting down so you can hear its small voice, and then practice trusting that it's okay to obey that small voice. But that's what your path is. That's what yoga is all about, or at least that's what it's all about for me. That's why we do yoga and why we meditate. So we can trust ourselves more, have less fear, not to look outside of ourselves for answers. And I just felt really compelled to share this with you, because I know a lot of the times in our community, in our Facebook group, Yoga Hacks community, if you're not a member, join us. We get carried away, right? We're like, oh my gosh, this article says this. Should we all freak out? And I'm not saying don't share articles in our community. I want us to share articles. The whole point of the community is that we can talk about things that are interesting to us. So please share, because I love to spark a dialogue and have discussions, and I'm not trying to say that's bad or anything like that. I just really encourage you, if you find that you're the kind of person who's constantly getting caught up in stuff you read or worried, to just take a step back and just know that everything pretty much that's written is in some way sponsored by ads and designed to get you worried, right? It's designed to make you want to click on it. It's designed to rile you up, and to try to go inward instead. To try and say, instead of reading that article, I'm just going to sit and take 5 quiet, deep breaths by myself instead. That's a choice that you can always make every single day. And I personally can guarantee that you will be so much happier when you start doing this, because instead of living in constant worry, you will be able to get in touch with what's really true for you. For every article about yoga or any anatomical thing on the internet, there's like 3 articles that say the opposite, because everyone's experience is different and you need to just find what's true for you. So again, reading about other people's experiences is great. Doing yoga on YouTube or searching around for things that you think can help you are great. But I want you searching and doing all those things with the perspective that like you have a basket in your hand and it's like grocery shopping. You're like, I'm going to take this grapefruit and put it in my basket. I'm going to take this alignment tip or this thing this teacher said and I like it. And I'm leaving the rest. You're doing selective shopping. Selective things you want to believe in, selective things you want to do based on if they work for you or not. Uplifted is about creating a personalized yoga practice that works for you. It's not about doing my routines, or it's not about me. All I want to teach people is that you have the power to choose what's in your practice and to do the things that work for you, and to not get caught up in the drama, the stories, the articles, the insanity, and to constantly go in and try on different things that people offer, me, other teachers, other experts, always with the lens of what's true for me. Is this true for me? Did this work for me? And I want to put this in my basket, or I'm going to leave it on the shelf, and that's fine too. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for everyone. And when you do this sort of selective shopping of information, constantly validating if it works for you or not as you go through trial and error, which means you have to get on your mat, get on the foam roller, try things out. When you do that, your yoga practice becomes such a joy because you're constantly able to try on new things. And it's sort of like getting to play dress up. I'm visualizing right now, like you go into a store and you get to try on all the different clothes and look in the mirror and be like, this looks good on me. Oh, this doesn't look good on me. You know, when you look in a mirror, you're like, I like this outfit, or I don't like this outfit. Or maybe you're like, I'm not totally sure. But it's the same with your body. This feels good on me. This doesn't feel good on me. This, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to try it on again tomorrow. I want you to constantly be doing that kind of selection and personalizing of your practice. And in Uplifted, my goal and vision for the community is that we are a group of people supporting one another on that path, on that selective shopping, trying on of things. So please share what you find and what you're curious about. Please try it on for size yourself and see how it feels and let the group know that. And please don't worry about all the different articles and things that you see on the internet when it comes to yoga or yoga teacher training or yoga anything. Just stay with what's true for you and know that at the end of the day, no one knows more about your body than you do. Really. Even doctors and highly trained professionals, there is a connection between you and your body that is the biggest gift, and it's so special. And I just want everyone to learn it and re-feel it and sink into it. And I love yoga because I think it's the #1 way to do that. And that's it. So much love from my heart to yours. Namaste.
Always come to your mat. Always be stretching your body, your mind, your soul. From my heart to yours, namaste.